Well, this is a treat for me. I will say this. This man needs no introduction. Coach Gene Keady joins us on our Gold and Black Zoom, and this is our first birthday Zoom, so to speak. Coach, you've made a lot of firsts in your life over 84 years. First of all, happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you. It's another time where you got another notch in your belt. Just happy to be here. My dad lived to be 87, so I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, I remember your dad. You know, it's time. Birthdays are always time to think of your parents, and I remember your dad having an opportunity to meet your dad. And I think your mother also, maybe in the mid '80s. Tell me about what you remember. I mean, I don't know. I know your parents were both very hardworking folks, but did you guys celebrate birthdays much at home? I mean, what were your birthdays like that you recall? Being May 21st is probably the end of a school year typically for you.
Yeah, we celebrated birthdays. Mom was a great cook. She liked to bake, so we always had great birthday cakes.
Yeah,
I remember that. That's about as exaggerated as we got, because we were not wealthy, but we were happy and we had a great life.
Tell me about your dad too. Your dad was as I recall, a floral guy, but a little bit of and really into gardening, and also that may have been his profession. But I refresh me on that a little bit.
Well, my dad was a florist.
Yeah.
Probably the best man I ever knew was my father.
Yeah.
My mom too. She was a great, great lady. And Dad taught me how to box.
Yeah.
But he never ever hit me, but I thought he might. So I behaved. But Dad worked at a greenhouse, started in the 8th grade to send his brother to college for Mr. Gilbert. Mr. Gilbert came over from Germany right before World War II and started a greenhouse there in London. So Dad worked for him his whole life, and then when Mr. Gilbert passed away, Dad inherited the greenhouse. So he was in the flower business most of his life.
Larned, Kansas. You know, you always look up your biography and see that place. Give me a little geography. Where is Larned close to? How many people lived in Larned, and what kind of life did you have growing up in terms of that small Kansas town?
Well, it's between Great Bend and Dodge City. It's
Right.
northwest of Wichita, about 150 miles or thereabouts. I'm not positive about that mileage, but it's out in western Kansas. I had a great childhood. My gang was 2 Spanish kids, 2 black kids, and a redhead. That was my gang. Galen Howe, Garcias, and Vieros. That was my buddies, and we had a lot of fun together. So it was a great time in my life. My bicycle was my buddy.
Yeah, no doubt. What sports did you start playing first? Were you a sandlot baseball guy? I know you have a great love for baseball, but tell me about what sports. Did you play with your buddies, or did you play whatever was in season?
Well, Gov McDonald was the baseball coach at Washburn University in Topeka, and he was from Larned, so he'd always come back in the summer and have baseball camps. So when I was about, I think, a 6th grader, he started us in baseball camps, and he taught me how to, hit, how to not swing at balls, and how to field, and so on. So Gov McDonald was kind of my mentor early in my life, but baseball was probably my best sport.
And tell me about it. Were you an outfielder? I know you could run. I know you were a receiver in football, but tell me about what. Did you have problems hitting the curveball? Was that your Achilles heel, or what? Tell me about your skills.
Everybody.
Yeah. I never got that far.
I was a pretty good hitter, I guess. I don't know. I just enjoyed playing. I played third base in Legion. And then when I got to Van Johnson ball, which was a college age league, I played the outfield. So, and then when I got older in Kansas, everybody has town teams. So then I pitched a lot. So I played everywhere. I love baseball, still do. Played baseball until I was 43.
Yeah. So you played a lot of industrial league or pickup baseball after you're done. How did you play till age 43? I mean, were you playing leagues?
In Kansas, every town has a town team of older guys that play baseball. They have a schedule where they wanted to play Dodge City, Great Bend, all the towns in the surrounding area, Kinsley. So it was a situation where everybody loved to play baseball. It's a national sport, so one of those things where you just learn to play at a young age and stayed with it until you're older.
All right. A lot of people know the story about your love for the Yankees. And as I remember, did it come from listening to games on radio? Or was it because they were so good during your time? How did you get that love for the New York Yankees?
Well, Frank Leahy was the football coach at
Yeah,
Notre
that's
Dame.
right. I forgot.
And his niece was my 8th grade reading teacher. So when she was a sports fan too. So when the World Series was on, it was always the Dodgers and the Yankees in those days. So
Yes.
he let us listen to the World Series if we read a book a day. So that's how I got to be a pretty good reader, along with the fact that when I was a 5th grader, we had the polio scare like they're having right now, all this
Yeah.
stuff with the virus. And we got out of school at Garfield, Kansas for 6 weeks. I thought, hot dog, I could run the pasture, jump in a horse tank, go up with my uncle on a road grader. Because in those days, the roads were all dirt. So I rode in his road grader with him to grade the roads. I thought, hot dog, I can do a lot of stuff. Don't have to go to school until a polio scare got over. But that was not happening. Mom checked out 35 books. I had to read a book a day. So that's how I became a guy that enjoys reading.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Mr. Steinbrenner also was a guy that coached football at Purdue. And when I coached the Pan Am team in Cuba, he marched in with me because he's on the Olympic staff. And he told me how his father had a shipping firm in Tampa. And his dad asked if he wanted to be a football coach or run his firm as he got older. And he said, I think I'll come home, Dad. So that's how then he bought the Yankees. So I knew Steinbrenner pretty well.
You enjoy. I never met George Steinbrenner, but you guys are cut out of the same cloth a little bit. I think you guys would have some good conversations being in the same room during your.
Well, he always gave me 2 seats at Yankee Stadium every year if I wanted them, but I only used them once. So we sat right behind home plate. Bob Huggins is the basketball coach at West Virginia now. His daughter, I think, was the ticket manager at Yankee Stadium.
Okay.
And she always gave my roommate and I, Mark Fratto, good seats behind the home plate. And the Yankees were always my favorite team.
Did you ever get a chance, or have you had a chance to go to the new Yankee Stadium, which isn't all that new?
Oh yes.
Yeah. What do you think of the differences? I mean, obviously that's an unbelievable facility. I only made it to the old one once, but an unbelievable place to go watch baseball.
Great place for fans. Unbelievable enthusiasm. Just a great baseball arena, and I love it there.
All right, I'm not going to take your whole birthday here by this conversation, though. I love hearing your stories. I did hear, you obviously have during this pandemic, you've still been able to get out and play golf, correct? And tell me a little bit about your golf game.
I got good buddies. There's a lot of golf courses around here, so it's pretty easy to get on the golf course. Just they don't only let you have a cart by yourself. You can't give high fives. You got to give elbows. You can't touch the flagpole, and they have little strips down in the hole so you don't reach down the hole and touch it. So a lot of rules going on right now. A lot of caution, which it should be that way.
Does it test the honor system in golf because everything's good? I mean, you get close, you call it good, or how do you call a putt? I mean, has it?
Oh, inside the leather. It's inside the leather. You pick up, go on. Anyway, that's what we do. To make it right, that's what we do.
Yeah, I'm going to say that. And do you have any hope of shooting your age? Are you close to doing that at 83?
Oh, yeah. Shot my age last year, 83.
Did you? I never heard that story. That is an amazing thing in its own right. So, and you're still swinging as fast as you always have. You don't cheat yourself on your swing anymore, do you?
No, I try to, but it didn't go very far. But if it's a par 3, 160, I use my driver. So that's pitiful, but I still play and hit it pretty straight and have fun, have good guys.
Yeah. All right. Wanted to ask a couple basketball questions. Obviously, you're close to the Purdue program, and you're close to Bruce Weber and all your folks that work with you over the years. Tell us a little bit. Everybody has an opinion. Obviously, Matt Harms and Nigel Eastern are really good guys. They chose to go on. It's kind of the way of the world now in college basketball. How do you view that? Not just with Nigel and Matt, but just the environment of college basketball and transfers and all of that makes for a challenge.
Well, that's right. That's why it's great, Alan, to be in America, because you can have your own opinion. That's right. But Purdue is a great university, and Matt Painter's a great coach. So I had a lot of players like that weren't happy. Usually their parents got involved, or some AAU coach, or somebody was trying to screw up what the truth was. Most of the time when a kid didn't play, he wasn't good enough. That's the bottom line. And Matt Painter's a very, very good coach, fair coach. Played for me. He was my assistant 4 years. So it's one of those situations that good luck to them. If they don't like it there, it's one of those things you need to move on. So
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be any happier anywhere else, but that's what they got to figure out. It's their prerogative.
I also want to ask on this pandemic, and you've got you talked about the polio scare, and certainly that was certainly a part of your life growing up. How should we, it is something that will pass. It is dangerous, but how have you mentally looked at this pandemic and said, this is what we're left to deal with? How have you personally been able to kind of reconcile all this?
Well, I'm lucky that my wife is very hygiene conscious,
Yeah.
and I make sure I wash my hands for 20 seconds anytime I do something in the bathroom or that sort of thing. We stay away from people quite a bit. We only do stuff that's, if you go to the restaurant, you got to pick it up and take it home. We try to do what they tell us health-wise what to do. Wash your hands regularly, don't touch your face, do the things it takes to keep the virus away from you. It's kind of like the flu, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's hope that we can get this passed. All right. So, what will be one small way that you're going to celebrate your birthday? I don't know what your drink of choice is these days. I don't know if you're a bourbon guy, but what will you have a special cocktail to celebrate number 84 today?
Well, I still love Maker's Mark, but that's not as prevalent. Red wine probably is
good for you.
Things I might celebrate. Doctors say red wine's not as better for you on your system than other alcohols, but it's not a big deal. My old roommate, Mark Fratto, who was the SID at St. John's, and I were roommates in New York for quite a while. His father, Lou, lives over at St. James. And then Mark's son, Jack's going to come with him over and have lunch with us today. They're driving over from St. James to have lunch with Kathleen and I, so that's going to be fun. That's kind of how we're celebrating, having lunch with our friends.
That's a great way to celebrate. And I will say this, you don't need to hear this, but you are lucky and fortunate to have Kathleen in your life. She is a great person, and I am glad that during this time where it's good to have somebody close, and because it's a kind of a quiet time right now. But my best to you always, and grateful for all you've done for Golden Black over the years, and we've enjoyed these interviews. Kathleen and Gene, stay safe and have a great rest of your birthday.
Thank you very much. Purdue is a great university. Good luck to everyone there, and I appreciate you having me on for a little bit. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
All right. You too.
All right. Thank you.